Alright, so I haven't made a video vlog in a while, but um, what I know is that the medical cannabis laws in the United States, and especially in Illinois, the medical cannabis conditions, there's only 39. There should be 41 now within the next 2 weeks to make sure PTSD is added. But the thing is that with the medical cannabis conditions, and how you can add conditions and request to add conditions. The thing is that like the judge, a veteran had to ask a judge to ask the governor to add PTSD because like the governor made a thing where they can request conditions to be added on the list for medical cannabis, but the governor didn't add any of those. So it's like, why would the governor allow people to request to add conditions on the list if the governor is not going to add them? So that's how the veteran got it. So the veteran had to ask a judge to ask Bruce Rauner, the governor of Illinois, to add PTSD. So it's kind of like really weird that they could allow you to request conditions to add, and then they won't do it, and then so now you need to ask a judge. Like, it just shows like the governor isn't really following its own rules and standards of what it set out. So, and that just shows how much attention he's not putting onto the medical cannabis, and maybe his medical cannabis advisory board is now it just isn't doing as good as I thought it would be, because the thing is that it's like there's no really other state in the United States that does this, but the thing is that we should be adding more conditions for medical cannabis at least every 2 weeks or at least once a month. Why? Because there's so many conditions that can be cured with medical cannabis that the Medical Cannabis Advisory Board for Illinois doesn't really seem to. The medical cannabis conditions list, it just does not seem to be live. Like, it's not alive. It's set at like its own conditions, and it doesn't add more conditions every 2 weeks. Like, the point is that is to save people's lives, and so to save people's lives, you would want to add more conditions. You would want to find out what it can cure, and so the people should be trying to find out what medical cannabis can really cure, and thus adding more conditions. It should be like the medical cannabis conditions list should be active. It should be alive. It should be having new conditions added on every month. So that's how we can quicken the pace to have a much more like alive medical cannabis community, and eventually a recreational cannabis community. And the main focus right now to legalize cannabis recreationally is to focus on making sure that the medical cannabis conditions for each state is always being updated once a month. That's how we legalize cannabis recreationally in a faster way, in a quicker movement, is to prioritize the sick people first. So the goal to legalize cannabis faster, to decriminalize and legalize it, is to make sure that the medical cannabis conditions list in each state is being updated once a month, because the medical cannabis advisory boards per state should always be looking and researching to see what medical cannabis can cure to save lives. That's why it should be being updated once a month. That's how we can legalize weed quicker, so that we can have jobs and a safer alternative to substance use.